Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. We are now on day 4 out of 5 on this new series called Exploring Skilled Trades. If this has been useful to you or informative to you or educational to you, I'm so thankful. I am not a professional. I'm just a passionate educator that loves teaching life skills. And growing up, I never knew how a garage door works. It wasn't until our garage door actually broke. And then from there, we're like, wait a minute, how does a garage door actually work? And I've learned a lot, and I would love to share that with you. If you've enjoyed what we've been talking about, take a look at some of my other videos where I've talked about an introduction to the electrical system, the plumbing system, the HVAC system, and really how light bulbs work and really what they are. All right. So if you're interested in that, take a look at some of those videos and let's begin. So today I want to talk about, actually real quick, I want to talk about if you're watching these videos during the month of December 2021 or January 2022, I'm actually giving a free certificate of completion for you to put on your professional resume for students. And if you complete this free Notetaker. So join our email list below if you're watching it in these 2 months, and I'll send you a free Notetaker. And then from there, you can go ahead and complete the notes as you watch these 5 videos. All right, here we go. So in this video, we're going to take a look at first the stats. Let's look at the stats. So the word garage, I don't know if you knew this, is derived from the French word garer, meaning to protect, shelter, or store. Here's some other stats. A home organization study done by Moen, North America's top faucet brand, found that the garage was the most cluttered space in homes. All right, I can believe that, right? Because I know it's so easy to hide stuff in your garage. The average garage door opens and closes about 3 to 5 times per day, and that's approximately 1,500 times per year. So it's actually used a lot for many, many households. 25% of people with 2-car garages don't actually park in them at all. This is really interesting because of garage clutter. 55% of homeowners use their garage as the house's main entryway. So they enter through the garage. The first electric garage door opener was actually invented in 1926. So about 100 years ago that this has been, but obviously it's developed a lot since then. I also want to talk about the dangers because a lot of times, we don't talk about this. And I think it's really important for you to be knowledgeable and educated in this. I don't know if you knew this, but garage door accidents are actually responsible for 20,000 to 30,000 injuries every single year. Wow. The garage door is one of the most dangerous parts of the household and responsible for several dozen deaths every single year. Most of these victims are fatalities of small children, unfortunately. So be careful if you have small children playing around garage doors, and they can weigh over 100 pounds. A lot of times it's like hitting the button and trying to beat it. So I've seen, kids do this, and I used to do this too. Like you hit the button and you try to jump out of the garage door but that's actually very dangerous because if you get hit by that or if you get crushed by that, it's a very dangerous thing. The most common garage door accident is actually when people back out of the garage when they forgot to even open the garage door. I don't know if you knew that. Very interesting stuff. It actually happens because so much is on our mind sometimes that we forget. Each year, more than 400 Americans die from unintentional carbon monoxide poisoning, not linked to fires. So I also want to talk about this. So I don't know if you know this, but for most gas cars, not electric ones, but for most gas cars, if you leave it running in the garage, that's actually very dangerous. You want to vent the carbon monoxide. Any single time your car is running, it's producing out of its exhaust pipe carbon monoxide. It's an odorless, colorless gas formed by the incomplete combustion of fuels. So any single time you're running your car, carbon monoxide is being produced, and you got to be careful because carbon monoxide can actually lead to carbon monoxide poisoning, and that can actually be detrimental and fatal if you breathe it in too much. So please be careful. Please, whenever you start your car, try to move it out of your garage so you can get more ventilation. Here we go. Let's begin. An overview of how garages work. So this is not a full-blown descriptive photo, but I really like it because it's simple enough to the point that you can understand it. You've got your garage door opener here. This is kind of like the garage machine and it's going to run. That's going to kind of pull it a little bit, but the main MVP of the garage system is actually called these springs. I don't know if you knew this, but there's 2 torsion springs on each side of the garage to balance it out. You've got 2 cables here running there as well, connecting the spring and this tube shaft to its very bottom. Then you've got your track here. Usually there's wheels here, if you can zoom in there, and there's wheels and there's rollers, and it can go all the way up. These 2 pulley systems are called drums on each side of the garage. And then you've got your 2 sensors down here, which we'll talk about as well. I want to first talk about, focus on the torsion springs. Now, I did not know this until our garage broke, but our spring actually broke. And here is a spring that actually looks good, so it's not broken. But this spring is actually the main mechanism that actually pulls your garage up and that pushes it down. So how do you lift a 100-pound garage door? It's through the really the physics of these springs and how they have strength. Okay, so if you're taking a look here, let's focus first on the garage torsion springs. Torsion springs are typically mounted horizontally above the garage door opening, as I showed you. Now, this is something I didn't know before our garage doors broke. As the door comes down, the springs actually wind up tighter, creating more strength in the springs. Okay, imagine a spring that's wound up. That's really what's happening when the garage door is coming down. And as this winding, and it's going to create stored energy. Now, when the garage door is open, the springs will actually unwind and it's going to become looser and the energy is going to lift the garage door. That's how you lift a 100-pound door, through these garage torsion springs. Here's an example of what happened for us, but the garage spring broke. As you can see, that's what it looks like. And once you break it, you're going to not be able to have that torsion and that strength of the spring. Next, you've got your garage door opener. And this garage door opener pretty much is located, and it's usually powered electrically, but it's usually remote controlled by like a remote control in your car, or sometimes you can even sync it to your car, like your car, because it's built in with a garage door opener. Okay, so that garage door motor, it is not. I used to think that motor spins and that motor pulls the garage door. No, now we know the torsion springs do that work. The garage door motor, the opener, and the operator help assist the door's movement, and the door is actually attached to a garage door opener by a curved arm. Okay, so as you can see here, that's the curved arm right there. That's connected to the door. So it's going to facilitate, it's going to help it assist the door's movement. But remember, the torsion springs are going to be the ones that are going to pull up the door and push it down. Okay. Now, when you look at garage door motors, I don't know if you've even noticed this, but if you look up here, go back here, right here, there's either one of these three systems. It's either chain driven, so there's a chain. It's cheaper, but it can lift heavier things because it's a chain. It's kind of like a bicycle chain. Then you've got your drive belt, and this is the quietest. It looks like this, and it's more expensive, but it's not for like heavy duty big doors. It's usually for lighter loads. Then you've got your screwdriver opener, which looks like that, and that's usually for heaviest doors. All right, so depending on which one you have or which one that was installed, it was all about what kind of door you have. Okay, now let's talk about these sides. These sides are, as I said earlier, these are drums, and there's cables here like imagine two strings on each side of your garage door. Here's what it looks like when it's operating. So as you can see, it's going to wind up around these drums, and then here's the little wires that are going to go all the way down, these cables. Okay. Now, the door cables are for the torsion springs. The garage door cables have an integral role in the proper operation of the garage door. These cables are actually attached to the brackets on the very bottom, and they work in unison with the garage door springs to lift. So everything's working together, but really the springs are going to be the MVP when it comes to allowing a garage door to work. As you can see here, sometimes these cables can break, they can snap, and because of that, your garage door will not be able to open. Here's a broken cable, as you can see these pictures. And there's actually these sensors. And I didn't know this, but these sensors are actually different colors. So go take a look at them next time you take a look at your garage door. Now, the difference between them is there's a transmitter and then there's a receiver. Okay, so the remote control is actually a transmitter. It's going to go. So when your remote control actually is pressed, it's going to be synced to this transmitter. All right. To the receiver. The transmitter is going to make sure that the garage door is actually aligned. Okay, so a lot of times, let's say like your garage door doesn't work. It could be for a variety of reasons. One, your springs are broken. Two, your remote control battery is out. But three, it could be these two sensors not aligning. So a lot of times, like you want to make sure that these sensors are aligning and that they're facing one another and that they're connecting. Because if not, what's going to happen is the garage door is not going to open. Now, why are these sensors so important? Let's say you're about to walk below a garage door and it's about to come down. Well, this sensor right here is going to stop the garage door from crushing anything that's trying to go in between. So it's really a safety precaution when it comes to that. Okay. Now, let's say your garage door isn't open, but your springs are, or let's say like your battery, like your electricity's out and you can't open your garage. There's actually a manual way to open your garage door. Now, what I got to say though, be very careful. These garage doors are hundreds of pounds. And so if you don't feel comfortable doing this, please call a garage technician to come out to help you with this. But in short, if you're comfortable and there's a few people helping you and you know what you're doing, you're going to pull this release cord, and this release cord is going to go ahead and release this thing from the garage door opener. So you're going to pull the emergency release cord. Do this with the door. Always do this with the door fully closed, because you don't want to do it when it's open, because when it's open, the garage door can come slamming down. So that's what's going to happen. Now from there, after you release it, then if the springs are still good, because the springs can still work, you're going to go ahead and push up your garage door, and it should open pretty well. Now, if your springs are broken and you still want to open it, you can, but it's going to be heavy. And that's what I experienced too when our garage door was, when our garage springs were actually broken. How do you become a garage technician? It's really interesting here. Based on my research, I figured out that to become a garage door technician, you need a high school diploma or GED certificate first. And then many vocational schools will actually offer you courses to train you on the basics, kind of what I just did, but to a very extreme degree. So way more detail, but most technicians actually learn on the job. So I don't think you need an actual certificate, but a company is going to want to obviously train you before they put you on the job. Okay. And it's a very physical job as well. Now, how much profit can a garage door installation business make? Actually a lot. Springs are usually hundreds of dollars and garage doors are thousands of dollars. So annually a garage door business can usually make $100 to $200 in profits. But once again, if you have many employees, you got to pay them and you got to pay for all the other things that come with owning a business. All right. So there's that too. All right. So cool. If this has been interesting to you, please join us for our last and final module, our video series on day 5 about light bulbs, if you've ever wondered about that. So join us on that. And thank you so much for watching. See you next time.